Wait, it wasn't you charged for, human trafficking
Yo,
in America?
yo.
Not in
Correct.
America. Not in America.
So here we go again with another Andrew Tate moment, because people in this space honestly can't stop watching this guy. For some reason, every time he shows up, the internet locks in and the conversation gets wild fast.
Where?
I was so we can talk about this. Let's talk
Oh,
about
yeah,
this.
yeah. We would love to hear
So
about it.
this is a long 1 hour story.
It's legal in her country, so that's why she's like confused.
But I caught a case in the most corrupt country in Europe for human trafficking, money laundering, organized criminal group, attempted murder, assault, battery. Very long story, but to make it short for everybody at home. Your ability to speak freely is directly correlated to your insignificance. I was the most Googled man on the planet.
This video is all about Andrew Tate appearing on the Life and Fit podcast with Myron Gaines and the rest of that crew. The discussion jumps into a lot of heavy topics: military talk, cheating in relationships, gold diggers, and a bunch of other spicy points that always get people arguing. Now, is this going to turn controversial? Maybe. I've got different opinions on a lot of things, and I'm not the type to just stick to one lane.
I blew up to prominence in 2021 and 2022 by telling the truth about the world, and then the system got angry at me and Matrix attacked me. I spent 4 years in jail and locked in my house, and I very recently got free. So I'm here to continue to tell the truth because I don't learn my lesson and I'm fucking stubborn. So until they lock me back up, I'm going to continue to do it.
I like keeping things fresh and interesting so the conversation doesn't feel stale. Sure, I could sit here reacting to clips all day, laughing at these guys nonstop, but I'd rather bring more value to the table and really break down what I think about the topics they're throwing around. So yeah, this is the episode where Andrew Tate jumps onto the Myron Gaines podcast and we're digging straight into it. I'm not even gonna lie, man. Walter might be the one who bothers me the most in this whole alpha male universe.
Men like being your vessel to the world. So I'll give you an example. Not to brag, but I own a plane. It's because all my money and all my effort, my $32 million that went into buying my plane, all I want is her to smile. I don't want her to get on there and think it's normal. I want her to go, wow, this is really cool. How did you get a plane? I want to say, oh, well, I want to tell the story. I want to be the fucking man. That's why.
I never really introduced him before, but now he's fully part of the crew, so here we are. To me, Walter comes off like the most phony dude in that whole circle. You can just see it. The vibe feels forced, like he rode someone else's wave all the way to the top. If we're being real, Myron is clearly the bigger figure and probably put in way more work building that podcast. Meanwhile, Walter just slid into the spotlight and stayed close to the action.
You have all these controversial opinions. What would you say to your own daughter? I pray my daughter at the age of 18 meets an older guy, 45, 46, gives her a house, gives her a fucking Bentley, gets her pregnant, and gives me grandchildren. And if she comes to me and goes, Dad, what? My husband cheated on me. I'm going to say, are you in the big mansion? Are you driving a Bentley? Okay, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. He's taking care of you. If he stops paying your bills, if he stops protecting you, then come to me. But if you are completely protected and provided for, keep giving me grandchildren because that is the best thing you can do with your life. I'm rich. Your man's rich. You don't need to make money. That's a waste of time. You don't need a fucking Birkin. You don't need a TikTok account. You don't need an Instagram account. Don't sell pussy for pennies. Stop being an idiot and give me grandkids. That's what I truly hope for my own daughters. That is the best thing they can do. That is what will make me most proud.
And what really gets me is when he starts shutting down what this woman is saying on the show. She literally served in the armed forces, and she's making the point that women can also be part of the military and contribute in war situations. Then Walter jumps in, basically saying women shouldn't be there at all. Now, I already know some people watching are ready to blow up the comment section like, what are you talking about? That makes no sense. Relax for a second and actually hear the point before getting heated. Modern warfare isn't just two groups charging at each other like it's the Revolutionary War or the Civil War. Yeah, there are still moments of close quarters combat, no doubt about that. But today's military operations are way more complex, way more technical, and way more strategic than people like to pretend.
If you read the Bible, forget the Quran because that can be seen as extreme. We're in the West. If you read the Bible, it says that if a man rapes a woman, he must marry her. Why would they force a woman who has been raped to marry the man who raped her? Because marriage means protect and provision. If a man rapes a woman, he must pay for her for life. That is the entire point of marriage. That's what marriage is. Marriage is not sitting there doing couple TikToks like a fucking faggot. Marriage is not walking up and down the aisle with a stupid dress on and being publicly humiliated on Instagram. Marriage is protection and provision. I am your husband if I pay your bills, keep you alive, and nobody can touch you. That makes me your husband. I could have 10 women with my babies because of the amount of money I have and my capabilities in 10 different mansions with 10 different security teams driving 10 different Bentleys.
Warfare isn't just soldiers clashing face to face anymore. We're talking about cyber operations, the Air Force, the Navy, intelligence units, and even space technology playing a role now. The battlefield today is way bigger and way more complex than just close quarters fighting. Because of that, women can absolutely operate and contribute effectively in the military. There are real examples of this too. Take someone like Rose Maddie. She worked alongside elite groups like the Green Berets and Navy SEALs while operating in combat zones. Her role focused on gathering intelligence in extremely dangerous environments, and she handled it with serious skill and professionalism. The team she worked with was highly effective, and from what...
The point I'm making is women can only fall in love 1, 2, let's assume 3 times. Yep. A man can fall in love over and over and over and over. If a woman sleeps with 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 men, and then the perfect man comes along who's very nice to her and treats her well, etc., because of what I just discussed earlier with the fact that people argue and nothing's perfect and she has unlimited options, she's likely to cheat on that guy and eventually leave him. Whereas if a man sleeps with 50 women and then the perfect little virgin angel who obeys him and does everything he says comes along, he's going to be obsessed with her. He's going to fall in love with her completely and utterly. Men can fall in love at any point during their sexual history. Women get 1, 2, 3 shots max. Yep. Then they die inside. Their hearts die inside, and they become gold diggers.
It's true.
This is the guys. This is the current cycle of society.
It's been reported that unit was largely made up of women who were attached to special operations forces. They showed strong competence, discipline, and the ability to carry out missions in environments where the stakes were incredibly high. So when someone casually dismisses all of that experience like it means nothing, it just sounds off, especially when the conversation comes from people who have never actually been anywhere near those kinds of situations. It's easy to sit comfortably in a studio, running a podcast, talking big while the cameras are rolling. That's why hearing confident statements about what people in the military can or can't do sometimes feels wild. The reality of military work is complicated, demanding, and filled with roles that require intelligence, strategy, and teamwork, not just brute force. And when you look at the real examples, it becomes clear that capability in those environments can come from many different people. There's actually a hormone called oxytocin, and it plays a role in how people react to stress. When someone is under pressure, the body...
And this is a life hack for all of you women, in case you're ever debating anything in future. Women have this amazing feature of their minds, and it's like it ties into your natural innate narcissism. And the reason you have narcissism is because you have to protect yourselves and prioritize yourselves because you have to stay alive for the children. And humanity, humans, us men, have made you narcissists for a reason, because we want you to prioritize yourselves so that you can have kids. So female life is actually more important than male life. It always has been for a very long time. That's why it was men stay on the Titanic, women and children get off the Titanic. This is the way it's always been. So we have helped you through the process of evolution become narcissistic. And that's very important for human survival. But I want to give you a tip for when you're debating. Whenever you discuss a meta point or a larger point, what women always do is put it back to them. We're not actually fucking talking about you. We're talking about men, women, society, marriage, the country we're in, failing birth rates. Well, no one gives a fuck what you want. We're not talking about you.
Releases this hormone differently depending on whether the person is male or female. For men, the amount of oxytocin release tends to be lower. Because of that, their response to stress can look different. For women, the body usually releases a higher level of oxytocin, which can influence how stress is processed and expressed. That's a real biological pattern that researchers have talked about for years. But here's the key point people always miss. This is a general trend, not some absolute rule that explains every single person in every situation. Human behavior is way more complex than that. You can absolutely find men who break under pressure when things get intense, and at the same time, you can find women who step up, take control, and handle extreme situations like real warriors. That's just reality. So the idea that a general biological pattern should automatically block women from high-stress roles like the military or leadership positions doesn't really hold up. The real solution is something much simpler: standards. If the standard is tough, then everyone has to meet it. If someone can't meet that level, man or woman, they don't make the cut. That's how high-performance environments already work. Men get removed from roles.
What's crazy about that case is, like, there were 2 girls, there were 6 victims total, and 2 girls were like, we are not victims. They were literally saying over and over and over again, we are not victims, and yet they kept putting them in the same category as the other. There were 2 of them that were anonymous, and then the other 2 were, when you look into their past, these are women who had trapped men, extorted money from men. Men had literally killed themselves over their actions. This constitutes the women who were apparently the victims in the case. It's bullshit. I did a video on this like 2.5 years ago, before it was cool to defend the Tates. Yeah. Destiny the streamer sent all of his little liberal army against me, but time exposes or promotes you, and I knew that eventually he would be vindicated.
My G. But my G, I was set up by the system.
Wow.
And on a political podcast, I'll give the 2-hour story when I talk to these guys. I was set up by the system. That's what happened.
Honestly, this woman is an idiot for drawing attention to her video, blatantly attacking and defaming an alleged human trafficking victim during an ongoing criminal case. Congratulations, Amy. You are now on my radar, you moron.
All the time, if they fail to perform, they get fired, replaced, or pushed out when they can't handle the responsibility. That same rule should apply across the board. But if a woman meets the requirements, passes the selection, and proves she can handle the pressure, then there's no reason to hold her back. Let her lead, let her serve, let her operate in those environments. Just look back at the example mentioned earlier with Rose Maddie. She went through a strict and demanding selection process and came out the other side because she proved she could handle the pressure. That's what really matters. So even if studies suggest that on average, women might respond to stress differently than men, that shouldn't automatically shut the door on them. What should matter most is performance, discipline, and whether someone can meet the standard when it counts. Just because women are biologically built to have children doesn't mean that's the only lane they're allowed to exist.
Dude, we're below replacement levels. Do you understand that?
Yeah.
That in like literally a few generations, humans may go extinct because we're below replacement levels. I think Andrew Tate's strategy is way more effective, number 1, for keeping the planet alive, and number 2, in alignment with evolutionary and psychology.
She's correct.
Here's the thing, at the end of the day,
Not gonna lie, you're ass kissing a little bit.
No, she's not.
Here's the thing. I've been on this podcast literally 4 years ago, and maybe you're 20 years old. I'm in love with my fiance, and
Just
he
'cause I'm 20
agrees.
doesn't mean I don't know much.
No,
I
I'm
can
not,
see a person
I'm
through
not
a person.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that with time you gain wisdom, and wisdom is applied application.
Correct.
It's learning through your personal experience what you go through, and you're gonna learn
And I
in time
understand.
that, dude, we're literally below replacement levels. If we don't adopt this strategy, or people aren't religious and get married and stay monogamous and have as many kids as possible, it's one of those 2 things. If they do those 2 things, the human race will survive. If they don't, we will perish.
I mean, stating that women are optimized for childbirth isn't some groundbreaking galaxy brain discovery. Of course they are. They're the ones who carry the baby and go through the entire process of bringing a child into the world. Let's be real for a second. Men are not built for that at all. Nobody's lining us up to go through childbirth. That's clearly not how biology works. Women are the ones who handle that role, and it's a massive responsibility. But recognizing that biological reality doesn't mean it should automatically define every decision a woman makes for the rest of her life. Life choices are way more personal and way more complicated than that. If a woman wants to live a traditional lifestyle, raise children, focus on family, cook, and manage the home, that's completely her choice. There's nothing wrong with that path at all. For a lot of people, that's exactly the life they want to build. At the same time, if another woman decides she doesn't want children and instead wants to build a business, chase a career, or focus on other goals, that's her decision too. People build their lives in different ways, and both options can exist without canceling each other out. At the end of the day, Everyone eventually has to make choices about what direction they want their life to go. You can't realistically do everything all at once forever, so people pick the path that makes the most sense for them. I agree with Andrew Tate in that respect, right? Like, I don't want you to just think that just because they're alpha males, I'm just gonna instantly think like everything they're saying is wrong. Like, in some respects, what Andrew Tate is saying right here is right. Like, you cannot do everything in life. Like, you need to do something that you're really good at and make money and exchange it for, right? And I guess he is right that women are the most optimized for giving birth. But like, that's a no-brainer, okay? Because like, I'm not giving birth. Like I said, hell no, all right? So at first, like, this doesn't really seem like that crazy of a clip, okay? It's kind of like lukewarm. You're like, all right, yeah, okay. But this next part, I think, is where it gets deranged, truly. The argument some of these guys push is basically this. As long as the woman...
He's right. Do you know what the biggest achievement in your life has been so far?
My daughter.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct.
I know that because
Correct.
she is. She's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Absolutely.
And a lot of other women are finicky as the guy.
And so,
It actually made me more mature.
All right,
It made me more of
Let
a
me ask you a
woman.
question real fast.
No.
So, whose show are you on?
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
Don't
what?
fucking
What'd
forget.
you
Like,
say?
so,
What'd
some
you
of you
say?
ladies are just fucking rude to be rude.
What'd you
I'm
say?
like, you know,
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
No,
yeah,
you
just
heard
shut the fuck up and
What was
listen
your
for 2
question?
seconds.
You
It's
heard
very
that.
simple, okay? Right
What
now,
was
your
your
guy.
question?
Right now, I'm gonna get to it. Right now, your guy. You said he's in jail, right? And he's not able to be
Oh, we're
there
not
and
talking
provide
about
for
that.
you
We're not
and
talking
everything
about
else like
He's in jail.
But we're not talking about that.
Well, I need to use that as an analogy of what I'm
No,
gonna say
you
here.
don't need to use that because we're not talking about that.
Yo, who the fuck are you talking to, bro?
just
Shut
used
the
it.
fuck up when I'm talking, okay?
to you,
Shut the fuck up
Fresh.
when I'm talking.
He's not fresh, dude. Oh my gosh.
Yo, get the fuck off my shit, man. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck off my shit.
I
Man.
thought you
Frank
were...
Castle.
Get your ass up and get the fuck up out of here, bro.
Frank
Stupid ass
Castle.
fucking bitches, man.
No.
Andrew's been fucking really polite to you dumbass bitches, and you guys are rude. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Ridiculous.
All right, leave.
Get your ass up. Get the fuck up out of here.
Andrew's nice, but you
Yeah, you're fucking ridiculous.
Bye,
Get
bye.
your ass up. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
He wants you
Get the
to.
fuck up out of here.
Best up, be
can
too
go.
comfortable.
I don't even know why the fuck you brought her back here, Chris, to be honest. She's fucking wrong.
Yeah, bye.
Get her out of
fine,
here.
Fine.
I was annoyed when she came with Clive.
Bye. Yeah.
you
All right,
can
bye.
go.
Yo, just get up. Just get
Bye.
up and get the fuck out of here.
You can have your own show. Thank you.
Incredible, bro.
Bye.
Sure, because I...
Fucking rude.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like, incredible. Get the fuck out of here, bro.
Imagine I go to someone's podcast and does that to them on their live
Incredible.
show. That's crazy.
Has a roof over
Fresh
her head,
off the
some
viral
money coming
cringe
in,
stream
and she's raising
featuring
the
the
kids,
Tate
then
brothers,
everything is
Fresh and
supposedly
Fit,
fine.
Sneeko,
Meanwhile,
Nick
the husband can run
Fuentes,
around, cheat
Clavicula,
openly,
and
have
Justin
kids
Waller.
with other women,
Andrew
and just
Tate
do
has
whatever
made
he
his
wants.
long-awaited
That logic
return
makes
to the
zero
Fresh and
sense
Fit
to me.
podcast.
How is
To
that
me,
supposed
this
to be
is
a
very
healthy
telling
relationship?
because
Just
last
accepting
time
cheating
Tate was
like
in
it's
the
normal
US, he
behavior?
ditched Fresh
That
and
idea
Fit
doesn't
for
line up with
right-wing
how most people were
podcasts
raised
like
at
the
all.
PBD
Most of us
podcast,
grew up
Benny
hearing the
Johnson,
opposite.
and the
You
Hodge
respect your
twins.
partner.
That
You stay
went
loyal to the
terribly.
mother of
These
your children.
podcasts
You don't
faced
go around
significant
humiliating your
backlash from
family
their
by
audiences
sneaking around
for
with other people.
platforming
That's
and
basic
simping
respect.
for an
And
alleged
honestly,
sex
when
trafficker
Andrew
and
Tate
child
talks about this,
predator.
it
It
sounds like
appears
he's
that these
defending the
podcasts
behavior
may not
because it
have
matches
Tate
what he
back, except
personally
Patrick
does.
Bet-David, of
That's the
course.
vibe it
So
gives off.
Tate has been
Then you
forced
have
to
Myron
resorting
stepping in,
to going
trying to
back to
argue
where
that
it all
most men
started
secretly
in the
agree
Fresh
with
and
this
Fit
mindset.
studio.
But I
Very
seriously doubt
quickly
that.
into the
If I had a
podcast,
daughter
Tate
and the man
jumped
she
at the
married was
opportunity
constantly
to
cheating
tell
on
a
her,
bunch
I'd
of
be furious.
ridiculous,
Think about that
childish
situation for a
lies
second.
about
A
his
guy asks your
ongoing
blessing
criminal
to marry your
cases.
daughter,
So
stands
let's
there
start the
talking about
video with a
loyalty
good
and
old-fashioned
commitment, and then
fact
later
check of
he's running
Andrew.
around
If you
disrespecting the
include
entire
the several
relationship
months
behind the
they
scenes.
spent
That's not just
incarcerated in
disrespecting
preventative
her,
detention
that's disrespecting
and
the whole
the 2
family.
stints they've spent
I
in
honestly
house
struggle
arrest,
to understand
the
how
Tates have
anyone can
spent
defend
just
that
over
kind of
a
setup.
year in
If
these
someone out there
scenarios.
truly
Yet
believes that
Andrew,
arrangement
like a
works,
silly
then
little
sure,
drama queen,
explain the
keeps
reason.
lying
But from
and
where I'm standing,
exaggerating,
that whole
complaining
idea
that he
just
was
sounds
locked up
completely
and on
backwards.
house arrest for
And
4
this
years.
is where the conversation
What a
really starts getting
snowflake.
messy.
Next,
Because some people
Andrew
online
started
try to
telling
frame
silly
this whole
lies
situation
to
like it's
impress
just
all the
male
ladies
nature,
in the
like
Fresh and
men
Fit
cheating
studio.
is somehow normal, and everyone should just
hard.
accept it.
Tristan
But that
added that
argument
he
falls
normally
apart
wouldn't have
the
called him
moment
out,
you
but
actually
since
look
it was
at
live
real
streamed to over
relationships.
50,000
If
people
loyalty
in
doesn't
HD,
matter,
it
then
crossed
what
the
exactly
line.
is the
He
point
said
of marriage
putting
in the
people
first
with way
place?
more to lose
The
into
whole
risky
idea behind
situations
commitment
just for
is
clicks,
trust, respect,
By the time
and
the
building
crew
something
pulled up to the
stable
Miami
together.
nightclub,
The
drama
moment
was
someone
already
starts treating
boiling.
the relationship
Tweets
like
were
a
flying and
one-sided
user
deal,
reports
that
popped out
foundation
everywhere,
starts
claiming
cracking
the song
fast.
kept playing either
What
right
makes
as
it
they
even
walked
stranger
in or
is when
moments
people
after
try
they
to
got
sell
there.
this
Some
Some say it was requested, like it's some kind of others swear it was already already queued up. They'll say a man can do whatever he wants right after. The woman just reportedly went silent, stay loyal no matter what. No one doesn't sound like leadership. Everyone was watching their back. That just sounds like someone by the end of the week. Rumors spread that one member has secretly recorded private by the promises supposedly to protect himself. If you step into a serious relationship, alone sent the group into full panic mode. To what started as one band song and loyalty now turned into a war of ego, loyalty, and survival. So when people try to normalize the entire internet to see, while still demanding loyalty on the other side, it just feels like a double standard being dressed up as dropped out of nowhere. And once you really break it down, messy, that logic starts looking shaky real fast. Fans went wild, dissecting every second like this are exactly why everyone will see hit a new level during an appearance tied to topics of heated podcast. The opinions are strong, everyone could feel everybody watching ends up picking a side. Make it out of this drama clean. Some people will agree with Andrew Tate. By this point, Nico made it clear, and others are going to completely reject target in the whole situation. For me, I just fired back too, saying the story was literally being rewritten in real time. People who were laughing on personal choices and roles spoke out about the Miami club chaos, trying to explain what really went down to simple, but no one seemed ready to take viral responsibility. Doesn't always capture the full picture, and the tension was only getting worse. These moments down instead of owning it together, take on what's being said. Zooming in on one name. I'll agree with parts of the conversation. Sometimes I'll completely push back on hate, but the goal is always to keep the discussion real and actually think through these ideas. Another video shows if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might want to jump into the conversation. And definitely drop a comment below with your thoughts, because I'm curious to see where you stand on all this. Completely. People on